Mike, what went into Britain now returning kicks regularly too?
Yeah, I don't know. Just with Bernie's done a good job during practices and everything, and given the conditions with the weather, just getting straight downhill with it. And everyone's going to keep getting better. We've got really good options between him, Quez, Kenny, in terms of that. But just with the weather conditions, we wanted to get downhill as fast as possible. Never want, to go sideways when it's slippery like that. So I thought he did a pretty good job in terms of that. He bounced it out to the left side right there, got to the 30, got to the 29. So it helps a little bit on the field position, helped the offense out.
Michael, I saw Sippos trying to kick, field goals or extra points or whatever. And can he do that if, I say if, Jake has a little bit of an injury on Sunday?
Yeah, we always have some sort of a protection plan for everything, regardless if it's a punter going down, if it's an offensive lineman on field goal going down. We work that, behind the scenes just to make sure, just in case, because you never know what's going to happen. You never would have thought Jake would have got hurt or got hurt his foot on that game right there. But we always have a protection plan or a backup plan for anything that happens in those situations. And, we talk about it a lot. Nick does a great job with it, in terms of those type of situations, getting this team ready for it.
Are you proceeding as if you will have Jake Sunday?
Yeah, like Coach said, everyone's got a possibility to play on Sunday. We're still only Tuesday right here, so we're looking forward to another good work week in terms of practice and everything, and we'll just see how everything goes as the week progresses.
When the kicker's injured on the sideline and you're trying to figure out what his range might be, what's that process like, and how quickly do you have to figure it out?
The communication between everything. We communicate as overemphasizing communication is just going to help us out regardless of the situation right there between myself, Coach Sirianni, Jake, just communicating, hey, what do you feel comfortable with and everything like that. So I thought the communication, and it happened so quickly. You never know when it's going to pop up, when it's going to arise right there, just to communicate between myself, Jake, and Coach Sirianni on different situations.
What was it like for him to kick that 28-yard field goal, like not only with the hurt leg, but also, in the conditions and everything like that?
Jake is one of the toughest people I've ever met, regardless of the position that he plays. Everyone sees a kicker and they think something differently, but he's tough out there. And him to go back out there, he drilled the first field goal, drilled it, to come back, hit another wet ball in a tighter location right there still. Takes a lot of guts right there, and he did. And he trotted out there, and he puts it a lot on himself that he's going to get the job done, regardless of the situation, regardless of the condition out there. And I thought he did a heck of a job. Very proud of him to go out there and still put 3 points on the board, a big 3 points to make it a 2-score game right there.
And I take it was harder to kick in that end than it was the 43-yarder report.
That whole day, the conditions were tough right there. But again, the communication from the beginning of the game, like, hey, what side do you want to kick with, in terms of all of that. But the offense did a good job to make it a shorter field right there, and kind of you can control it just a little bit better with this shorter field goal right there. But he got up. The operation was good right there between Rick, the offensive lineman, Aaron right there. Then really it was cool was the people behind the scenes, the equipment guys, and the field crew. It wasn't super slippery out there. Everybody had the right equipment. It was able to put his plant foot in there and kick that 28-yard field goal. So just an all-around effort from everybody, even the people you really don't see around the building.
Michael, it was kind of interesting to see Jordan Davis out on the wing position on field goal block. What made you think about putting him out there?
You try to make the edges a little bit longer. I had Eric Armstead and DeForest Buckner in San Francisco right there at the edges, and when you have a guy that's 6'7", 6'8", it just makes it a little bit more difficult for guys to rush and really bend the corner right there. And Jacksonville, number 32, he had a nice little couple rushes, but Jordan's length right there kind of makes it a lot harder. And everyone's willing. In this league, it's tough to win in this league, and everybody's, willing to do whatever they can to help this team. And Jordan's one of those selfless guys. He goes up, I talk to him, he's like, yeah, whatever, I'm ready to do it. All he asked was a hug from Jake after he hits the field goal.
The kicker, can you wait much longer in knowing whether he can play versus any other position?
That's a good question. I don't know if I have a true answer to that because you never know what happens in the day. Some days it can feel good, some days it can feel bad. But the communication, again, we still got plenty of time until Sunday to figure it out. But Howie, Nick, they do a great job of having it covered as we move forward.
How did Aaron do grade out in this game? How did Aaron grade out?
Yeah, again, we don't want any of those touchbacks right there in the plus 50. In terms of that field punt, the second one we left to get a little bit more to get the Agnew down real quick. He gave us an opportunity inside the 10 to make a play. Agnew ran around a little bit right there. We got to make the play. We had some guys down there, and if you ask the guys, they were a little upset about they let a guy run 30 yards for 8 yards. Then the last punt, to flip the field right there, 44-yard punt, a heck of a play by Andre, gave enough hang time to allow our coverage to get down there against a very dangerous returner. Jamal Agnew has 6 touchdowns in his career, but to be able to do that with the hang time, let those guys run down there. So we're still striving to get better, more consistent right there. But if we could eliminate that touchback, I thought he had a pretty solid day.
What goes into those kicks? What goes into those kicks that when he's trying to pin him? It doesn't seem like he does a lot that are in the corner. What's the thinking behind that?
You still want to give the gunners an opportunity right there. If it goes super deep into the corner, there's always, ifs, ands, or buts about it. But you go super deep into the corner, and the gunner to the other side gets kicked out, thrown out of bounds. He can't touch the ball right there, and then the returner has a little bit straighter line away from the backside gunner right there. So I think we're just, him just letting it go and just hitting the ball, I think we'll just allow him to do what he did last year, and he was pretty good in the plus 50, so we just got to get better at that because it's going to help our whole team out with all that, especially how the defense is humming right now to give them a long field. We just got to be tightened up in that plus 50 area.
You spoke about Jake's toughness. In what ways have you seen that before Sunday?
I'm around him almost every day right there, just the toughness he has. He may be the pound-for-pound best athlete on this team right here, but just the tough, let's not talk about his mental toughness because that guy's, he's got ice water in his veins when it comes to it. But he's one of those guys that when it comes to competitions, he's going to chirp you. He's going to try and beat you in everything he does. So just that sort of toughness right there. Then he goes out. The guy kicks. His leg gets a little tired, but he's ready to go. Comes back, and a tough guy like that it gives everyone confidence that regardless of the situation, regardless of the time of the game, he's going to get it done.
Surveying the street free agents at kicker, how involved are you in that versus the personnel department handling it? How is that split up?
It's a collaborative effort right there. We all, again, it comes down to communication. They ask me about my input, I ask them about the input, what they feel about it, and we get a short list going and we talk about it, and whoever's out there, we'll keep it in there and try to go forward from there. Getting ready against the Cardinals on Sunday.
When a guy like Zach McPherson starts playing more snaps on defense, played a lot on special teams as well Sunday. How's the communication between him and the defensive coaches and you, and to make sure he's not, playing? They didn't play a lot of snaps on defense, so does that go into it? How does that all play out?
You try to, when a guy who is a core special teams guy that has to play on defense, you try to take away a little bit of the special teams, to conserve them right there. And again, Zach, the communication between myself, him, JG, Coach Sirianni, D. Will is always up to par right there. So you didn't see him as much on the coverage units to try to take that off him, going straight into a defensive rep right there. But there is times you only get 46 or 48 guys right there that a couple things you can't take him off of. He's just got to kind of suck it up, and he did a good job out there to be able to do that on kickoff return and punt return right there. But that's why, we get these guys ready, guys in the backup roles, mix and match, try to puzzle it together. So I thought the communication to help out Zach and on the defensive side from the special teams was really good. And I think the guys that came in and played on special teams did a really good job because there was a lot of moving parts that happened towards the latter part of the game.
When it comes to specialists, Mike, typically you only have one in the organization. So when guys are healthy, completely healthy, do you keep an eye on who's on the street? Is that something that's always in your mind because it could be a play away?
Yeah, you always got to be ready for the worst possible situation. So that revolving door or that list right there, you always, take a look and see what happens, around the league. Some things, happen around the league where other teams are now having to try out other guys right there. And you just see that list. I'm like, okay, boom, boom, boom. He was on this. He was on this tryout. You just kind of keep a Monday, Tuesday list to see what's going on around the NFL. So there's always a revolving door or a list that we could look back on and say, oh, okay, I've heard this guy before. I've seen this guy kick in previous, situations. I don't know if I would say fortunate, but in 19 and 20, we went through kind of a revolving door of long snappers in San Francisco when I was there. So you just kind of keep a list of guys that you've heard of, seen play before, and it's no different for punters, kickers, return specialists, anything like that.
Couple more. The timeout before the third quarter, you spoke a few minutes ago about the sides of the field. What does that threshold need to be to burn a timeout to make sure you have that side of the field?
Depending on the whole wind condition right there, we felt like it was a little bit more of a help going into that side, so you don't want to take off points off the board right there. And if you have a timeout at your disposal, the communication and the situational awareness from Coach Sirianni to hit it right there and help out the kicker in any way possible was outstanding. And again, it just comes down to the communication, which Coach Sirianni is awesome at. And, getting Jake ready, he wants to kick that way, sure, let's hit a timeout with 2 seconds left, get these 3 points on, then we'll flip the field going into the fourth quarter.
Thank you.